Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I am actually doing a voiceover over this piece that I just recorded because for some reason my mic was not working, and I should check it if my mic is working or not beforehand and not after I record the whole video. But yeah, unfortunately I did that, so I'm actually doing a voiceover over the recording of the video, so at least I will not record it again. Um, and today we're going to talk about the update, which is dropped on the 12th of June. And today it's the 13th. They always drop the update on the nighttime, which is the European nighttime, is what I mean. And it's a couple of hours since the update dropped. And with that, unfortunate recording of the video and my mic was not working. There are a few more hours spent, but of course, let's actually talk a little bit about the actual updates that are going to come this week. And also, I wanted to mention that when the updates are coming, some of the updates will actually come and before the actual update, because this update is actually late, like 1 month ago. That was the last update. So if you see some functionality from Flowflow that they are there, but you don't see them actually in the newsletter, don't worry about it because the actual updates are already there. And I'm saying that because sometimes people are wondering why there is no update. And I already see a new features in Flow. So that is because the new updates will actually come. So though they are pushing it to the beta version, and then some of those functions they're pushing it to the production version. So that's why you're seeing it, but you don't see a bulletin or news bulletin from it. So today we are going to talk about the choice chips. We're going to talk about um, the um, two new widgets, the action blocks, and we're going to talk about the Flow University. I want to talk about the Flow University because this is actually a project Flow just started like a couple of weeks ago, and they tend to actually, as long as I know, they tend to actually make it around 100 videos, which will be around 5 or 6 hours long for the Flow University videos, and they are trying to push like every day or every couple of days videos. And I will show you now the playlist of the videos. So this is the whole update, and there is this section for the Flow University, and when you click over the Flow University, this is where you're going into the playlist, and the playlist is right now having 12 videos. It's not 5 like they said in the update. They are already 12 videos in the playlist, and you can actually see there from 30 days ago, 12 days ago, 11. So it's actually day by day videos. They're not 5 like I'm showing you right now. And the last video was like a couple of hours ago. The last video was actually from, I don't know, like 12 hours ago. So that means that they are constantly, like I said, pushing new videos. And the content is really short. It's from 3 minutes around the 13 minutes mark. So you can expect like short videos. And this is the purpose of the Flow University, to have like a basic things that you can learn about Flow. Don't expect the advanced things in Flow. They are actually going to be basic things in Flow. You can learn, but it's a great start for a beginner. And yeah, so let's go to the first update. Okay, so let's talk first about the reusable action blocks. So what are the reusable action blocks? Action blocks allow you to create a sequence of actions that you can reuse throughout your app. If you need to make changes, just update the main action block. This automatically updates everywhere it's used in your project. That means less repetitive, less room for errors, and more time for focus on building your incredible apps. Action blocks support parameters and can be a page specific or and the whole app. And bonus tip that you can actually copy your actions. We'll actually use that bonus tip. I think that's why they wrote it, because we are going to use that tip to copy actions or chains of actions. Okay, so let's go to my project right now and then click on the load actions, and let add some actions. I will add actually the first action I'll add. It's the conditional actions, and we'll use a single condition. And the first condition that we're going to use, it's, let's say, it's a user-based condition. So we'll check if the user, it's, let's say, the email, and we'll check if the user has a specific email. So it will say like equal to, and then the email that I'm going to use is demo@demo.com. So this is like a simple custom check, and then the true, if this is the email of the user, I want to navigate to some page. So it's a very simple action chain of actions, and I just want to create it so you can actually see how you can use block action blocks and how you can reuse them. This can be, for example, it can be used if you want to have like something as an admin or something like. So here it's actually saying that there's requires a parameter. My name is not set for the page, so because I choose on onboarding page, and I need to specify a name. My name is a parameter for this page, or else I will get this error. And I will specify it from the authenticated user, and I'll specify the display name. And now this is the action blocks. And when I click on the action blocks, you can actually see all the actions that can be used in the app or in the page. So right now you don't have any actions, so it says no action blocks, and this is for the page or for the app. You can use for the app, you can use it across all app, of course, but for the page, you can use it for, I don't know, like you can have like a button, and you can have like several buttons in your app. When you click on it, you have the same action flow. So you have this, if you have the same action flow, you can actually transfer this to action blocks. And why you want to use action blocks is because there are two benefits from it. Actually, you have only one place to maintain your actions, and the second one is that your app will actually be less in size, because you have a few repetitive action blocks will actually cause for more bytes in your app. And this is important actually when you deploy your app. It's important to have less bytes than it's supposed. The less bytes you have in your app, the better actually. And now we are going to talk about how you can actually use the action block, and how you can create it, and how can you use it after that. So like I said, you can click on this button, which is the action blocks, and then you have to click on create. And I will just do that in the moment. But before I do that, I just want to tell you that the example that we use can be used, for example, for on-load actions. If you have some pages that are, let's say, admin specific or moderator specific, you can actually use the action blocks for that. And in my case over here, I'm using the email, and I'm using a specific email, but you can use it for admin or moderator. So first thing first, I have to write my action block. I cannot use dashes or something like that. So I'll use the name of user check, for example, because I'm using the email right now. So that's why it's user check, and I'll create it. So creating the action block, it looks like a normal action flow. The dialog box look a normal action. And I was thinking, when I create this action, I will actually have the action copied by itself this action will be copied, but that is not the case actually. You can actually see that the action is empty, so I have to copy it. So I'll copy the whole action chain like that, and then go back to the actions, and here I can have to press paste actions, because there is no actually other way to transfer actions. If you already have actions, of course. If you don't have actions, you can build it from the start. And this is my action right now, and I have it duplicated. So I have on page load and I have action block. So I will delete that. And now you have the question, how can I use this action block inside on my page load? And I struggled first to find how you can do that. But then I think, yeah, probably you need to just add an action. And then you can see on the right side right now, you can see that right now all the actions are collapsed. This is something that Flow didn't have before, but right now all the action categories are actually collapsed. But before that, they were all expand. And right now, if you're searching something in the search bar, you probably don't see it. You have to just expand the collection. Just keep that in mind. This is from the latest update. I don't know why they did it like that. It's probably for convenience, but the searching is not working really. It's not working the way it was before. And then this is actually we have a new category which is called action blocks, and there is your action. You can just click on it like I did, and then you can actually go to actions, and right now we are using an action without any parameter, but we can actually add parameters. We can have like the parameter for my page navigation can come from the argument can come from a parameter, and we can say that this is a required parameter, and I name my parameter username, and I can pass this username actually to my navigate to. And I can also um, have an action to output something. So in my case, I will have something like the API calls. So the API calls can be from Firebase. I actually did a video about that, and my previous video was not my previous video, but this video will actually come. Is right now it's only for paid members in YouTube, but they'll release it to the public uh, just later. And then I can return. This is API call, which will actually release for a Firebase get documents. And this will actually return documents from a collection. I don't need this. I don't need what is going on, what is after the action itself. And I want to have a return value. So the return value, what is the output of the return value in my case, because I'm using API call, is JSON. And the strangest thing for me was that I don't know where this return value is actually coming from. Is it probably from the last value, from the last action that I'm using? Because it's not specified. I was thinking that it's actually a good practice to specify where is this returning value coming from, because like I said, right now it could be coming from the first action or the second action or the third action. We don't know that. So this was actually strange for me. Where is this returning action coming from? From which action? And then I have the return action, like I said, is my last action, in this case, the second action. And then I can close that, and then I can open the onload action. I'm using the action block, and right now I have an error, which is the action block. It's have a parameter which is not passed, and I need to pass it. And the parameter, it's username, and I'll pass it from authenticated users, and I'll just click display name, and now the error is gone. And I also have the action output variable, which I can use actually. I can use this action output parameter. In my case, I'm returning documents, so it will be docs response. So this is how you can use action blocks. This is how you can pass parameters and how you can return parameters. But now I'm going to actually show you. I'll try to show you in the test mode, and because in the test mode, because I'm using API code, it would be hard to show you, so I'm going to show you. So this is how you access action blocks, but I will actually delete the navigation because if I test it with this navigation, it will not work. It will just navigate to some other places. But I want to test the output of the action, and I deleted the first action, and that actually deleted my whole action. So I just had to set it up real quickly again, which is to have uh, the uh, the file base get documents, and I'll again return documents response, and I don't need this. I will delete it. The successful uh, uh, action, and now I'm going, like I said, I'm going to test it to just see if I'm going to return something. This is the API that I'm going to test. You'll probably see this is it looks weird, and that's because I'm opening the console log, and I'm going to the network panel to see what if the action will actually run. And this is the action actually running, and this is the response. This is actually a JSON response about the API code that I did. Uh, Getting documents from my collection code open, and this is I actually have two documents over there, and I opened this in a more formatable way. This is a JSON formatter, is the website, and you can actually see those are the two documents, and I have like a couple of fields over here, and you can actually see it that this thing is working. And this is actually the video that I released. It's a recently released video by the time of recording of this video, and right now it's only for paid members of the channel. But I attempt to release videos like every week, and it will be released like a couple of weeks or a couple of months from now. Uh, and that was actually everything you need to know. According to further reusable actions. And before we go actually to the next one, I want to go to a new page and just show you how you can use already usable action. Just go to the action on page load. I'll use it on page load. Click on the action blocks, and then you have this because it's an up level action. You don't add it from there. You just add a new action and then click on the right side when it says action blocks. You can access your action blocks from the upper top where it says right here. You can access from here, but this is now how you're adding them. This is your action block, and don't mix the two of them because this is important. And yeah, again, I would delete actually this action. And let's move on to the second part of the updating. Okay, so the second one is Conditional Builder Widget, and it says update your app experience with our enhanced Conditional Builder Widget. You can now effortlessly switch between different UI elements based on conditions, all with a few clicks. Say goodbye to the tedious process of using a stack and setting conditional visibility for different widgets separately. So this is actually a great news. It's much appreciated to having this new widget. It's actually a new widget called Conditional Builder. So let me actually go and show you how you can use it. First of all, I'll actually create a new page. And the page that I'm going to create, it will be a blank page, and the name of the page will be Conditional Builder. And I cannot use dashes or anything like that. So I'll just make it with lower cases, conditional. I'll just write conditional blocks. The first thing that you have to do is I'll actually add an image, but it's actually better to delete this image and add first the conditional block itself. So you have to write condition and then in the search bar, and you can actually see it. It's in the base element and it says conditional builder. So when you click on it, you can actually see on the left side, you have if and else, and on the right side, you have conditional builder properties, and you have if then else. So you have like two functionalities or two conditions, which are if something is true, then show this block of widgets. But if it's not true, then show the other blocks of widgets. And of course, you can actually click on the plus sign over there on the right and have multiple conditions. But in this case over here, we'll use only two conditions. And for example, let's say that we're going to use with a single condition. And the condition that we're going to use is because we don't have anything in the app state right now. It's let's pretend that we not let's pretend, but let's use the global properties, and let's use that is web, for example. So we'll actually use is web, and we'll actually say if it's web, so if it's true, and if this page is open through a web and not through an app, Android or iOS, we actually want to show something to the user. So in this case over here, we're going to show a button which is going to say, for example, download my app. So if this page is open from web, we'll say something like download the app, and then we have a link to the App Store or to the Play Store where people can actually download the app. And if it is not actually open from web, we can actually add some other widgets, which is in the else block. So if I click on the else block, I can actually add widgets there. If you cannot add it directly, if it's gray, that's because you didn't mark it as a show in widget. But if I click on it right now it's marked. So that's why you can actually see the if right now it's gray, and the else it's not gray. So we can add like an image, for example. Let's say that if this is open from a mobile, Android or iOS, we want to show the gallery. So we have like one image, but we need to wrap it up this into a container actually. And so we have a few images. So let's say that we have something like text, which text I'll make this text a little bit bigger. Let's make 18. And then the text will say something like calorie, and then I will move this text into the top of the widget, and I will add actually, it's because I waited a little bit more, that's why it's asking me to replace the image, but I don't want to replace it. I just have to move it real quickly, and it should be orange, not purple, but orange. When it's purple, you want to replace it, but when it's orange, it's just you are just moving the widget there. So I'm just adding two more images, so the total will be 3, and then I'll click on the scrollable. So I'll click on the colon and I'll make it scrollable, because if the size of the screen is smaller, it will be not scrollable and you cannot scroll. So right now I have the if a block and the else block, and right now the if block is there, but I cannot figure out how I can select the if block to actually see the widgets from the if block. And I was wondering how you can do that, but at the end of the day, I actually figured out that you have to click on the conditional builder, and then on the right side there is a button actually that you can click, which it says view it in the UI elements. And this is what I am actually about to do right now. So I click on the conditional builder, and then you can actually see on the right side it says show in UI builder, and now I'm showing the if block and show the UI builder, and this is the else block. So we have the if block and the else block. Right now we can show, and this is very convenient because if you have a lot of widgets, it's very convenient to actually view it and modify it. And before that, we had the stack and conditional visibility, and it was hard to actually maintain and manage if you have a complex logic of your app. But right now, I think it's great. I think it's better. It's much appreciated that they add this kind of functionality. I think in the widget tree, and I will actually use that like a lot in my apps. Okay, so the next one it's tooltip. Sorry if it's not synchronized. So it's two. The next one is tooltip. So tooltips are small contextual messages that appear when a user hovers over a text, an element. They provide additional information, making them helpful in offering guidance or clarifying functionality. Our new tooltip widget provides a range of customizations, colors, fonts, display, direction, allowing you to create a unique and personalized experience. And this is the image actually, or the gift actually that they're showing. And let me actually try and show you right now. If you go with the mouse, because this is a web version, if you go with the mouse, you can see the notification, my account, and my card, and I'll actually try to reproduce that. So in my case over here, I will actually use this page, but I'll actually modify it a little bit because right now I have this conditional visibility and I set it up for a web, but I actually test it in a test environment. So if I test it in a test environment, the test mode, it will actually not work because this is web actually, and it will open me and the if block, which is only the button. But first of all, uh, I will add this tooltip, which is this tooltip, which is this is the widget again. And this is how they made it. Of course, I will not make it as pretty as they did because I'm not a UI UX guy, like I'm always saying about that. But the whole idea is that when you hover over with the mouse, there is some tooltip or some information that you're going to get actually. And like I said, I'll actually modify this page a little bit. I will delete the button, and I'll actually delete the conditional builder itself. But first of all, I will add the mouse region, and the mouse region will actually have a text in it, and the text in it will actually be the gallery. So my whole idea is that when you go with the mouse, when you hover over with the mouse inside the gallery text widget, you actually have a tooltip, like saying that is my gallery or wherever info you want the user to be able to see. In the case over here, the case that the flow team showed in the gift the demo is actually hovering a button or icon. Sorry, it's hovering an icon, and it says actually what is the icon, what is the name of the icon, and you have this tooltip, and the tooltip you have this text, which I don't know to be honest why they did it like that, but the whole idea is that I think you have to have a tooltip, and inside this tooltip, you have to have a text widget if you want to show a text, of course. And the text, because you can actually have anything in the tooltip, but they did it with text. I would do it with text as well. And I would say something like my photo gallery or something like that, because like I said, they did it with an icon, and the icon probably makes most sense. But what is so if I have this tooltip, I have to show it with the conditional visibility, and I'll use a single condition. And the condition that I want to use is mouse region hover. So this mouse region hover, it's getting from my only widget that I have, which is a mouse region. And the whole idea, if the mouse is inside this mouse region, and if it's true, then show this tooltip. If it's not true, if it's not there, then don't show this tooltip. So this is the logic of it. And now I test it in the run mode. I don't know why the images are not loading. This is something new to me. Before that, the images were actually loading, but right now the images are not loading for some reason. I have no idea why, but let me just hover the gallery right now, and you should actually see, let me just zoom a little bit so you can see it better. And now when I hover the gallery, you're actually seeing my photo gallery. If I go away with the mouse, you can actually see that the text is no longer there. So this is actually the same logic that the Flow team do it and create. Of course, theirs is much prettier than mine, but this is how you can use tooltips with mouse region. Okay, so let's move on. Download code for a snapshot or version. Now, when picking a snapshot or a version, you can download the code of that version or snapshot. This is especially helpful when multiple users are working on the same project. One user can export the text, the test, and no stable version, while others continue developer potentially introducing breaking changes. So the whole idea is that that was not possible before that. To be honest, I don't use actually version a lot of versioning and a lot of snap modes. So this is the versioning that you can probably you can currently see. I have only one versioning, and the snapshots are actually automatically generated by Flow. So you have like a lot of snapshots over here that are loading right now, and then the snapshot, let's say the first one of the first snapshots is from the 11th of June, and you can actually see it by date. And if I click on the pick right now, you should be able to see the version of the project in that particular day and time, and you can actually revert it back in time. So snapshots are actually great if you mess up something with your project and then you want to revert it back in time, because you cannot with the simple control Z it will not work. So you want to revert it back in time. So right now, if you open the snapshot, you have the developer menu, you have download the code, and you have download APK. So if I click download the code, I'll actually start the downloading process, and I just want to check if this is actually working or not. And it says preparing downloading assets, and you can actually see right now, you cannot see it, but it's successfully downloaded the code, and that's why it's actually going the page is going a little bit weird. But that actually introduced two errors, which is Firebase Android configuration and Firebase iOS configuration. And right now, if I click download the code again, previously you are not able to download the code if you have errors in your project. But right now, you can actually see this dialog box, which is a new dialog box, which will allow you to download your project, which is great. And if I go back to my main project, this is my main project. This is not a snapshot anymore. And this is something new. If I just add an action in my on page load, and this will generate me an error because the action it's not defined, and the error will be action not defined. But let's try to download the code right now. So if I click download the code again, I have this error, which is it's not an error, it's a dialog box, a warning box, which it says you have an error. There are one currently error. Do you still want to download this project? And if you click yes, it is actually downloading the project, which is great, because 99% of the time when I want to download the project is because I have an error and I want to run it in a test environment like an Xcode or Android Studio or some other IDE that you're using. But the problem right now is that I have those two errors, which are the Firebase Android config and Firebase iOS config. And those errors were actually introduced when I went to the snapshot, download the code, and then they were immediately there. And I tried to actually regenerate the config file, because I was thinking if you regenerate the config file, those two errors will be actually gone. But fortunately, you can actually see that those two errors are not gone and they're still there. And I spoke actually just a couple of minutes after I record this session, because I'm over. This is voiceover over the recording, and I spoke with Alex and told him that Alex is the co-founder of Flow, by the way, and I told him about those two errors. And it's great actually, because he was super fast with dealing with those errors, and he told me that those errors are now fixed, and there should be a fix, and you should not get those error again, because with the errors, of course, you can't run a test mode or run mode, but like I said, those errors should be fixed now. Okay, and the next thing we're going to talk is choice chips. So, choice chips upgrades. Our choice chips widget got a big upgrade. You can now add border radius, weight, color, and padding. Those new options give you even more control to create an app that's not just functional but also beautiful. And I wanted to actually click on the image here to enlarge it, but unfortunately I was not able to for some reason. And then let me actually show you uh, the choice chip itself. And let me go to my home page, or let me go to actually conditional blocks, and I will actually add a choice chip over here. And by default, I don't know why the color is green, some strange green color. And then let me go to the right side and to the bottom, and you can actually see that here you have unselected choice chip style and you have selected choice chip style. So you have two different options. If the choice chip is selected or not selected, then you have the style from it. And I really don't remember if that was there before, but probably that was there before. And then you have now different things like disable. You can disable the choice chip, and we have the chip spacing. We have the row spacing. We have the alignment. We have the color. We can choose the color. We can choose the icon color. We can choose the icon size. We can choose the elevation. We can choose the border color. We can choose the border width. We can choose the border radius, um, and so on. And we have also allow multi select, and we can also, and we also have require selection. And then we have the initial option, and we have other options as well. So, like I said, I will not be able to create a choice chip with such, because I'm not a UI UX guy. I'm not. I was not. I will be not able to create like an amazing choice chip, like you see in the picture that they put in the further flow. But what I can show you actually is that, and what I can tell you is that you can copy this choice chip, and you can actually, when copying this choice chip, you get this kind of strange code or strange string or strange text, and you can create your choice chips, and when you have your choice chips created, please copy them and paste them as a comment in this video so I can include them in my GitHub repo, and you can share them actually uh, across the further flow community, because I think this is a great way to copy and paste widgets and the styles of the widgets so people can actually reuse them. We can have something like gallery on our own. So the further flow repo that I'm using is this one, and we can have something like UA, UX, UI, UX elements, and we can have, like, for example, the choice chips, and we can put all the choice chips out there so people can copy them. So it's very simple. You just copy this text. I will actually delete this choice chip right now, and then if I go to the colon, I can just click Control and V. I can press Control and V on my keyboard, and you can actually see the same choice chip because it's the same choice chip that I copied. So please post in the comments below your choice chips so you can share it with everyone. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's continue. The next one is project labels. So you can now add project labels to your project and keep your project dashboard organized. Labels can also be used for your whole team, making it easy to categorize and filter the various projects. So in order to show you that, I have to go to my dashboard, And if I open my dashboard, I have a few projects, and the project name is actually on the top, and you can actually see the labels on the bottom right. So, for example, the homeless animals, unpublished homeless animals don't have any label, and you can actually see the labels. And the labels it's only one label that I added. And this is how you add a label. Actually, you click on the three dots and then click on Add Label. And you can actually search for the labels on the top left corner, and you can actually see all the labels that you already added. I added the label Marketplace, and if I click on the Marketplace, I actually see only my projects that are labeled by Marketplace. So that's it. Everything you need to know for later. Okay. So the last thing that we're going to talk today is other improvements. Actually, they're very good improvements, and I recommend you definitely to stay tuned to watch those. So the first one is initial empty fields in Firebase is now optional. And what that means is that you can have a document with a few fields, but if you don't have a field, and I'm not talking if the field is empty, I'm just talking if the field doesn't exist for a certain document. Previously, you actually get a no error in your Further Flow project. But right now, you can actually avoid this error, and it's very easy to do that. And we can actually use this collection called open, or we can actually use files. I think file is better because we have two fields. Let's say the path is always there, but the name probably sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. And we can actually query the fields and get a single document. And we have a text, and this text it's usual like we do it always. We can have it from variable, and when we click on from variable, we can get it from the query, which is files document. It should be file document, but it's files documents because the name of the collection is files, and then we get the name. Okay, but the new thing is that you can actually use conditional visibility, use a single condition, and then click on the single condition, and then click again on files document, and then we have this new thing called has field. So when I click on the has field, you have this name, and then this will actually return true if the field is there. So you have to equal to the second value is true. And now if we have name, the field name, if it exists, it will actually be shown. If it doesn't exist, it will not be shown, and you will not get error or no value error in your flow project, which is actually great. And you have to, I recommend it to use that. And the second improvement is that you can now take the first n items from a list. So this is about getting a certain amount of items, the first amount of items in your list. There's something new as well that was not previously there before. And first of all, I try to actually do it with a colon, and then I try to query the colon directly. I try to execute the colon directly in the colon. I try to execute the query, sorry, directly in the colon, but that will actually not give me the possibility to click on generate children. It will actually automatically generate the children for me, but this is not what I want, because I want to have an access to generate children, because like you see over here, this will automatically generate the children for me, and I want to have an access to generating children. So this will not work. Don't use it like that. I had to change my strategy and not query it through the colon. I had to actually move the query up, as you can see over here, to the scaffold, which it says homepage. And then when I move the query up, now I can use it into the generated children from variable inside my colon. So this is the query that I have. It's a list of documents. The collection is called fields. This is the only thing that I have. And then when you click on colons, uh, the this here you don't have anything, and in generating children from variable, you have the variable, which is files documents, and then here you have the new option, which is first few items. So when you click on that option, you have 5 by default, but of course this can come from a variable, and this can be dynamic. But in my case over here, I will write 10 because I want to get the first 10 documents. And of course, you still have the available options. You can still map the list items, so you can filter the list items. And now we can continue. And then here I will write the name of the variable, which is a single file. And then I will click continue. And it will ask me, do you want to generate the children dynamically for you? And I'll say, yes, of course, please do that for me. And then I will get a file item and I'll get the name from it. So this is how you can use the first, let's in my example, first 10 items, or you can take the first items from a list. And then the last thing is that we updated the themes billing to make it easier to reduce seeds. This is self-explanatory, I guess, so that's why I'm not going to explain it for you guys and show you. And we have the Flow University. So I already talked about the Flow University at the beginning of this video. If you haven't, if you skip it, make sure to watch it. And we have the 10 tips and tricks for building in Flow, which is in the Flow official channel. And then we have the bug fixes, which is actually the bug fixes that they do. They quite a few bugs they fixed, and I will not go through all the bug fixes that they did. And of course, if there is a bug or if there is an issue that you found in Flow, you can use the GitHub issue tracker to submit a new issue. And I just want to say that previously, like in a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, we had actually the videos from the community. But right now, Flow, or from the past couple of weeks, Flow are only posting videos from their official channel, which is great actually, because they're having a lot of videos recently. But I really liked the idea that they also put a community videos as well. So maybe the best is to put the Flow official videos, but also put community videos. But that was just my suggestion for those news bulletins updates. And then the last thing we're going to talk is new features we're working on, and we have this record sound action. So there will be a record sound action coming up. I actually already did a video about that, and I just released it a couple of hours ago from the time of recording of this video. And that is this video over here, and it's record, play, and store, a complete guide to audio management. And it's about recording, playing, and storing in the Firebase. And they have this record sound action, which I think it will be a little bit different than the one that I show you in my video. But that's good actually. It's good to know that you have different options, so you can choose the best one that you want to use. And the second one is a directory organization for custom code. My guess is that we'll actually have a option to create folders for our custom code, just the way that we have in Pages, inside Pages. And this is what this is going to be. And there's also going to be infinite scroll across more widgets. And we now have only the list. The list view widget is the only one having an infinite scroll capability, but I really hope that the column, the row, and the grid view widgets are the three new widgets that we're going to have an infinite scroll. I really hope that, and let's really hope that this is the case, because the grid view widget is a great widget, but we don't have infinite scroll, and there are a lot of people actually asking for that. And the last thing is file store query action. I really don't know what is this going to be. So if you have any guesses, please write them in the comments below. It's interesting for me also to know what do you think about this. And before you go, I just want to let you know that I set up a Discord channel, which will be for my 3,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for everyone who subscribed to the channel. The Discord channel will be officially announced when I reach the 3,000 subscribers. It is well structured. It will be well structured with the general tab, which you can see the info, the news. It will have also click to talk, so you can actually talk to other members of the channel. And we have the YouTube videos as well, where you can see all the YouTube videos. You can also have, if you want to, if you want to request a video, you can go to video requests, and then we have the paid members from YouTube, which they have a separate channel where they can talk. I also have from the mentoring sessions, we have the paid members. And then it's structured by backend, Flow API calls, Superbase, SQLite. And then you have the design, where you can ask design questions. We have the custom code, which is code expressions, custom functions, custom widgets, custom actions. And for the Flow source code, we can talk about the Flow source code as well. And we have integrations as well, pub dev packages, platforms, if you want to integrate different platforms. We have the general integrations. And then we have, you don't see it from my face, but we have also the settings. We have the dynamic links, we have the push notifications, we have the app settings, we have the Android deployment, we have the iOS deployment, and we have the web deployment. And the last thing that we have is actually we have the languages, and we have other languages. So we have like Swedish, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, and all other languages that people from those countries or those languages can talk in their own language. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much for all the subscribers. And before you go, I just want to say that the paid membership for YouTube is now open. So you can be a paid member to my YouTube channel, which means a lot. And thank you very much for all the people who are right now paid members to the channel.